Well, it's a tale of two different weeks, good week and a bad week. We've had some questions from a subscriber, and also there's going to be some changes to the rules and regs concerning hazardous loads ADR. It's a very exciting video, stick with it. Good morning. It's David here, Anvil Logistics, and it's the start of another campaign, a fortnightly campaign that I normally do. And we're not had a bad start to the week this week. So we started off this morning, which is Monday today, the 28th of October. And we had a pre-booking, and it was a hazardous load, an ADR job. And that was collecting in Normanton and delivering in Spalding, which is the Lincolnshire area. And I did my usual quote where I have a minimum charge of £2 a mile, and then plus a bit of a contribution towards the journey to Normanton, and they gave me the job, which we did. So it was a cracking job, well-paid job. Got to Spalding mid-morning. But there's nothing much round there, is there? So I didn't think I'd be hanging around in that area, and thought maybe I should head over to the west a bit, towards Leicestershire and that kind of thing. See if we could pick up some other work. But I just I parked up at a Lidl, nipped into Lidl to buy some things for lunch, because we've got no kitchen at home. So at the moment, so I thought I'd buy some bits and bats. When I come out, there was a job in Peterborough, which is about 25 minutes away. I was going to Wigan, and it was for a small van. So I thought, if I can get that, that'll be me for the day. Anyway, so I put a bid in at 90 pence a mile. It's for small van rate. But got to bear that in mind. And they didn't even ring, they just put it on the CX and gave it me. So, thankfully, just get past these tractors here. I'm on the A1 at the moment. I got it, and we're now heading up to Wigan, which is where I am at the moment, on the A1, going past all these tractors. And I should be in Wigan probably about 20 past 2. And that'll be me for the day, a really good day. What a great start to the week, so much better than last week. So we'll see how we get on, and I'll just nip in and out and put a few video clips in here and there, but not a bad start. Right, it's what day is it? It's Wednesday today, 30th of October. I'm going to give you an update of what we've done since Monday, when you last saw me. So I've not done any CX work. It's not through lack of trying, just not had any luck. But fortunately, the people who I do quite a lot of work for, they've had some work for me. So yesterday, I went to the Blackburn area and one of the well-paid jobs, and took a job down to Uxbridge. Got down to Uxbridge probably just after lunchtime, and sat around trying to find some work on the CX without any luck whatsoever. It was quiet, and I put a few bids in there I thought I might get, but didn't get anything. Drove home empty. Unfortunately, it was a well-paid job, so I can carry the mileage, but you want to try and get some extra if you can, don't you? And today, yet again, another job from them. Picked up the same place this morning, and again, it's good. I get paid to drive to go and collect it, and I took 2 large pallets to Gosport. So it was a long drive, long day. Got to Gosport, delivered probably 1:30. And again, thought I'll give myself till 2:30, try and find something. A few bids in, didn't get a sniff. I was willing, maybe to go to another area, perhaps an overnight stay, blah blah blah. Didn't get anything. Started driving back, and then I bid for a job on the CX from, is it Newbury? It's like an RG postcode. It was north of me, so it was going in the right direction, and that was going to Stoke-on-Trent. I bid for it and got it, and they didn't ring. It was they just simply sent it through to my CX account. So I thought, well, that'll do me. That'll more than pay for all the diesel today and everything else. And it wasn't taking me off track because I was going north anyway, so I was going to go by Newbury, and then obviously I'm taking an item north. So got the details of the collection, put it in the nav. I was about 40 minutes away, and then 5 minutes later they rang and said, I'm really sorry, it's been cancelled because the customer realises that the delivery point will be closed by the time you get there. So very short-lived feeling of euphoria, and we're driving back. At the moment I'm south of Birmingham. I have placed some bids in from Bromsgrove, one to Huddersfield, another one over to Leeds. Didn't get them. I thought at this time of night in the afternoon I might get something. It's 4:30 now, but I didn't get it. Again, they were sold very quickly, probably for other people perhaps who were heading northbound or to Leeds or Yorkshire. I didn't get them. I made a little video today ranting about cheap pence per miles, but that's separate from this one, so you've probably already seen it. But it was just a one-off rant by me. I'm not going to change the world, am I? So that's what it's going so far. So money-wise, it's all right this week so far, but a bit disappointing in the old backload department, because backloads, you know, they had to see a week's profits and help out with the fuel costs. And again today, this job, well-paid job, and going home even empty means the day will have been a good profitable day. Probably used about £90 worth of fuel, but you know, less than a quarter of the job, so still good, but it would have been even better to get that job. Still, what can you do? We'll keep an eye on the feed, mainly for tomorrow. There might be some hazardous work coming out, perhaps I can bid for. If not, we'll see if my customers have got some work for me. That's it so far this week. Probably checking Friday, round off this week and carry it on into next. Right, it's Friday today, 1st of November, first day of the month, of course. Hope you all got paid by suppliers for last month. I think I have been paid by everybody. I'm going to check it tonight when I get home. Right, so the last couple of days, they've been pretty good. And as a whole, this week has been good. So, yesterday, another job from my own customer. And this was a pretty belting job. It meant going all the way up to North Yorkshire. But I'm getting paid to drive up there, collecting goods and then taking them down to Slough. So it's great pay anyway, this, because I'm getting paid straight from going from my house. Getting down to Slough, and then on the way down to Slough, I noticed a hazardous job on. Hazardous load that was going from Hayes, which is only 15 minutes away from Slough, and it's going over to Dartford. So it's kind of going across to the other side of London. And I thought, I'll have a bit of that. And I put a bid on it, and it wasn't a cheap bid. But what that bid would do would essentially serve as a backload, because the money I was going to get for that was probably more than I get for a backload back up to the north. So that's what I did. They gave me the job, one of the big shippers too. So I delivered, made my way over to Slough, loaded the goods, took them over to a transport company in Dartford. It was an absolute nightmare getting out of there, though. Flipping at the road that leads to the M25 to use the Dartford crossing was absolutely chaotic. I think there'd been an accident, and it was like, I could see the Dartford bridge from where I was. It was like I could touch it almost. But it took me an hour and a half to get to it. What a nightmare. So I got home a bit late, about 7. But a really, really good day for money. And that leaves today, Friday. My own customers gave me a job from Manchester Airport that went over towards North Lincolnshire area. I can't remember the name of the area, but anyway, let's just say it was going towards Scunthorpe. decent job, well-paid job, and then I had to hot-foot it up to North Yorkshire again. Again, getting paid to go up towards it. Collect some goods, take them up to Gateshead. And now I've been given another job, and I've gone down from Gateshead, back down to North Yorkshire, back to the same place, and I'm now going to Anglesey. This is a mega pain day, today. This one is a real late job, and will pay top money. I ain't going to get home till after 9, but with a really good amount of money. So the week itself is a great week for money for me. It pulls back, more than pulls back, the slight shortage from last week and leaves quite a bit over. So, and most of that work has come from my regular customer, so they're a bit busier. And they've been giving me plenty of work and keeping me busy, and I have been grateful, because on the few occasions I've tried to get backloads on the CX, I found it a struggle. I did the CX on Monday, but it has been a mission, an absolute mission. And like I said in that video, bidding on the CX at the moment for what you would hope would have been a busy time of year, frankly, it's a nightmare. It really is a nightmare, finding it a struggle. I know sometimes I'm out of practice with the CX, because I get that, but really is difficult. So, a great week. We're going to see what next week's brings. So, obviously, it's start on Monday, but for you, it'll be the next video. It's Monday now, 4th of November, and it is just before 4 p.m. And I've just pulled in at Birch Services, going to fill the van up before I go home. So, we've had a decent day today. I've covered a job for a pal. He's not been so well, and he has a regular customer of his. And he'd asked if I could do this job for him because he's having some treatment. So I've done it for him. So basically it was get to a company in Manchester. They're like a shop fitting company. Pick up a load of units and things like that. Really fill the van right out, from back to front, and a few double stacks, get them all strapped in. Get them down to some shop fitters who are fitting a new canteen to a medical company down south in Surrey. Got down there for about 11:30 this morning. They all came out mob-handed and took the stuff off me. It was great, in the loading bay of this company. And then I loaded 2 old refrigeration units, like those long counter displays that they have where they display chilled food, that are going back to the shop fitting company because they've got to be degassed before they get disposed of. And got them back there for before they shut. Got them back about 3:30. Got them unloaded. And all in all, a good day's work. It's good pay because you're getting paid to go there, go back, of course. He always throws a bit of extra money on for loading, unloading. All fair. He obviously has a good relationship with his customer. And I'm happy to cover it for him so that he can keep the customer happy whilst he's a bit poorly. So what I'm doing now is I've got a viewer question, a subscriber question. I got a question of someone. It was 2 questions, and because I don't exactly know the answers, I thought I'd give you the questions, and maybe somebody can give us a more definitive answer than I haven't got a clue. Okay, so this lad is not on CX. He does get work posted on CX sometimes by somebody else. But he had a question, one about the trusted scheme. So the trusted scheme is there anything in place on the CX trusted scheme that will prevent an unscrupulous person posting their insurance details and goods in transit cover, having it checked by trusted and verified, and then cancelling it afterwards to save money or whatever, therefore being able to operate on the cheap and slyly? Is there anything in the trusted scheme that would prevent that? So if you've taken out insurance, for example, uploaded your documentation, your schedule, certificate of insurance and everything with the expiry date, they check that, I presumably tick it off, verify it, and then is that it then? Do they no longer check it's still valid if you've cancelled it after that? So if anybody can answer that, let me know. Or is that a little flaw in the system? Perhaps somebody from the CX, maybe, if they do watch this, they might be able to answer that question. I suppose the word trusted means, are they trusted, these people? So that was one question. And then the other question was, most people take out goods in transit cover, obviously, to do this job. Me, I've got goods in transit cover, and I have £50,000 worth of cover and a couple of £1 million worth of liability insurance. Now, one of my customers, my regular customer, they frequently have cargo that's worth far in excess of that. It has a value, sometimes it can be up to £1 million, maybe more. It's only valuable to them, to the people getting it. It's not something you could sell, but it has a high value, and they, my customer, they have taken out additional goods in transit cover to cover the shortfall on our goods in transit cover, because, and I suppose it's possible to buy goods in transit cover for £1 million, but I would imagine it's quite prohibitive, the premium, and then a lot more questions will be asked. So I know that whilst I'm carrying their goods for this large amount, that I'm basically covered under their goods in transit cover for anything above £50,000. So in the event of a claim, obviously that's the claim. So what this chap was saying, again, I think it's because some of the stuff he gets out and puts out there is worth quite a bit more money, and he himself only has £50,000 worth of cover. What would happen if somebody was to have an accident, for example, and the goods or products were damaged, and there's a bill in the offing for £50,000, even because, sorry, £1 million, even though you've only got £50,000 worth of cover. Now, my only solution is this: I am a limited company. I have taken out a limited company, Amble Logistics Limited. So as that limited company, any liability stops with them. So me as an individual, they could not come after me for my personal assets, like my house, because it's a limited company. Obviously the limited company would have to fold because it doesn't have £1 million in its account to settle that claim. Or the alternative is you find insurance that covers you for that amount. So does anybody else have any solutions or what they think would happen? So, because if you, for example, were just a sole trader and had cargo on for this amount, would you be better off just saying, no, I can't carry that because I'm not insured, I've not got enough insurance against it? It's an interesting question. I didn't know the answer, and I didn't want to give the wrong answer. So if I was to carry, see, the only things that of that kind of value that I carry are for my regular customer, and I know they've arranged a top-up insurance for it. In fact, I've seen it. But if you go and do a job on the CX and the cargo was a lot, I mean, do the shippers check your amount of cover you've got? Do they point out you need this amount of cover? Because I don't think many people will have anything much above the 50, maybe £100,000. Anyway, any answers you've got, please put them in the comments. Any suggestions you've got, put them in the comments, and it will help. Thank you. Right, it's Thursday now. It's the 7th of November. I've not done any updates since Monday, so I thought I'd better throw this one in because we're finishing the video off tomorrow. It's been a bit of a mixed bag since Monday, to be honest with you. So Monday, we know I did that job for me pal, and it was a good day, really good day, well paid day. Tuesday, I did work all day for my own customer, basically doing some air freight collections and deliveries. Went up as far as Workington, on the Cumbrian coast, and then did collections in Preston and Bolton and things like that. So it's an all-day job, and you get paid a day rate for it, and it's not a bad day rate, but I mean, you're doing about 300 miles all in, so the price reflects that. But it was not bad. Finished for 4 o'clock. Yesterday was okay, but it was kind of rescued by a job later on. So they weren't busy, but they had a job for me for the morning, which was basically go to the airport and collect some freight and take it to Southport. Well, that's pretty much all they were going to have for me. They weren't all that busy. So I did that, and I was done and dusted with that quite early. Probably done and dusted for 10. And I started to make my way back to some busier areas with the intention of perhaps bidding for some work on the CX. And then I got a phone call from them to say that a job had come in, and could I take an urgent job that was going to be going down to Anglesey. It was actually going from North Yorkshire, but obviously I was nowhere near that. So one of my pals who works for the same company, he picked it up because he was up that end, but he wasn't in a position to take it. And we met near where we both live. I took it off him, and then I took it down to Anglesey. So that kind of rescued the day, because that's well paid work, that particular one. So yesterday, again, not a bad day. So we're running on target, probably slightly over target. But today's been a bit of a letdown. So they messaged me to say nothing on for tomorrow. I didn't manage to secure any work for the next day, so that left me this morning holding the baby, and ended up getting a job on the Courier Exchange, a medium wheelbase job that was going to Worcester. Not picking up though till, by the time I got the job, after putting bids in for other things, I got the job collected probably about 9:30. Well, I got on site at 9:30, probably got away just before 10. But when I got there, it was actually 4 pallets, which is fine for my van because it's like 4.2 meters long. The weight wasn't an issue, but it wouldn't have been fine for a medium wheelbase. So I thought, well, I'll get them loaded on. Took a picture, sent that through to the shipping company, and I set off. I should maybe have held on and got the answer, but I thought, I'm going to go anyway. I bid a reasonable price for this, don't get me wrong, but I bid it as a medium wheelbase job. So I rang them, told them I'm loaded, and asked them to look at the picture I'd sent through via the CX platform, and explained that there's no way on God's green earth that that would have fitted into a medium wheelbase van. The weight's not an issue, but the size of the cargo is. And they agreed, and we negotiated a bit more money on the job, because of course I would have quoted a different price had it been a long wheelbase van job. In fact, a normal long wheelbase van, which would normally hover around 3.7 meters, would not have done it anyway. You need a proper 4 meter and above van to carry it. So we got some extra money for that, and I got it delivered and got it down to Worcester, and it was like the land that time forgot. There has been no work coming out of Worcester whatsoever. I gave it an hour there and then drifted up towards Birmingham, and threw bids in whilst I was just south of Birmingham for work coming up, whether it be small van, medium van, whatever, to try and get a backload home. And I was bidding work for a small van at, say, 80 pence a mile as a kind of back rate, backload. Didn't get a single one, didn't get one job. So I've drifted further up the motorway now. I'm now in Cheshire. I've had to stop here because at my age, sometimes you've got to go to the loo. And I thought, well, I need a pee, so I'll stop here. I'll have another butcher's to see if perhaps I can get anything from around Cheshire going up. But it's looking grim. Most of the work coming out is for tomorrow morning. So I think today is going to be a disappointing day. Which we can carry a disappointing day, can't we? As long as tomorrow's okay. An average day will be an on-target week. I'll know more tomorrow when you get the update. But no, not a good day today. But again, every day can't be brilliant. Last week I had a fantastic week money-wise. And I'll settle for an on-target week this week, of course I will, because on-target means you're doing okay. Just a little bit disappointing. Again, the CX is disappointing. It is very, very difficult to even secure backloads because they're going for crazy money. I know I had a little rant the other day about the prices, and I do genuinely feel that if people continue to bid at stupidly low prices, you're going to go out of business. So what can you do? I mean, you can't beat those prices. And you know, it's mad really, because like the job I did on the way down this morning, the shipper gave me the job and I wouldn't have been the cheapest bid, but maybe they used feedback as a guide and just wanted to make sure it was done properly. But nothing like that on the way back up. So it looks like I'm going to drift home empty. Something might come up late, but we'll have to settle for that and then hope that either my regular customers find me good work for tomorrow, or I can pick up maybe a hazardous load for tomorrow to try and you know, get a good day in. I talk about hazardous loads. I believe there's some changes coming in about hazardous. Might cut out some of the cowboys and some of the unscrupulous shippers who try and hide things under the ADR aware rule. Apparently, I don't know for sure because I've not read it myself, I've been told this. They're tightening the law in 2025 about carrying hazardous loads, so that anyone who does carry hazardous loads has to have a dangerous goods advisor, and has to give details of that dangerous goods advisor. And anyone who ships hazardous loads has to have the same. So either one of their staff would have to be a qualified dangerous goods advisor, or they would have to employ the services of an outside agency. And the same would be for me. Obviously, as a one-man band, I'm not going to be a qualified dangerous goods advisor, and I would have to get myself a dangerous goods advisor who you would have to pay some kind of retainer to in order to make sure I'm qualified to carry the goods. And then the other one is the ADR aware rules, which are obviously widely flouted, but apparently that's scrapped. They're going to get rid of ADR aware and all the vagueness around it, and that if you want to carry low amounts of hazardous, that one would usually say, oh, it's ADR aware and you're okay, just stick a fire extinguisher and you'll be right. Apparently that's getting scrapped, and for limited quantities you're going to have to go on a limited quantities course, probably a day course, and have a relevant certificate issued to you, probably a little bit like your ADR license. You know, it's like a driving license style piece of card that you have to produce if you want to carry it. So maybe it'll get tightened up, so I'm all in favour for that. If it cuts down the cowboys like who turned up for that job I had the other week, nicking my work, you bunch of bastards. Anyway, I don't know the full gen. I had to read up on it myself to make sure I'm fully conversant with it. So it looks like by 2025, which is only a few months away, I'll have to get myself a dangerous goods advisor in place. There is something now potentially in place already, who somebody's reached out to me about. If not, I will get one myself. Someone else has also mentioned it to me. But basically, you'll probably pay an annual fee, and they will be your dangerous goods advisor in the event of anything going wrong or you need advice. They are your point of contact, because if you get asked by the authority who is your DGA, you need to be able to tell them who it is and produce, you know, their details, phone number, etc. So it's going to get a bit tighter on carrying the goods, but that's fine by me because I do everything within the law as it is now. So one more little bridge to cross, and maybe it cuts out the cowboys undercutting the prices, and it also stops the shippers who flout the law a bit from burying jobs in it, because they'd have to have a DGA as well. Anyway, 10 minutes this little segment, and this video is probably going to be about 5 hours long if I grab it on any longer. I'll round it off tomorrow, just let you know how I did. Catch you later. Friday today, 8th of November. end of the week, and this week has not been all that much cop really. Now, don't get me wrong, I have made the target. I've scraped it. I've just scraped over the edge. But couldn't manage to get any kind of backloads yesterday from Worcester and the Midlands. And today I didn't have any work off my own customers initially. So I went on the Courier Exchange this morning and I got a job going from Trafford Park up to Durham. Not a bad price, don't get me wrong, I got a good rate for it. It is for a shipper that I've done a couple of jobs for, similar type of jobs. And I think they tend to pay a reasonable price if you work for them before and you've done a good job. And they've just given me really good feedback on this job. So they're obviously happy with the work that I've done. But the North East is not a good place to get work from anyway. And I've struggled to find anything. I'm actually heading down the A1 now. So if I can pick up something in Leeds just as a little top up to get back towards Manchester, that'd be fine. But otherwise, I'm calling it the week. So first week, I had a good week. Really, really good week. This week, just about scraped target. So a tale of 2 weeks. That's what I might call a video. A tale of 2 weeks. But no, disappointing. Finding it difficult out there at the moment. This time of year, you'd expect it to be busier. It simply isn't. I've had a few people contact me this week. Subscribers or people who watch, which has been nice to. Thanks for contacting me. Good to be in touch. Special mention to Dan, who contacted me. Someone who's thinking of becoming a courier. He's been leaving the forces. Obviously, Dan, like I say, it's going to be tough if you do it. I'm not going to kid you. But, you know, like everything else, it's entirely up to you. And I hope it works out if you do it. One little thing though, mate. This is not a beret, okay? Not a beret. It's a cap. Yes. Thank you very much. So I don't know where you got that. I don't know where you got the idea of berets. That's some kind of Midlands thing. But anyway. So I'm going to draw the week to a close. If anyone's got any answers to those questions, please put your answers in the comments. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll scrabble about trying to find answers. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with us. Please give us a thumbs up. Helps the video get out to those who could be interested in watching it. Let's face it. I do appreciate those who continue to watch the channel. Let's face it, I'm no George Clooney. So unfortunately, 99% of blokes who watch this channel. But I thank you anyway, and I'll see you in the next video.